wanted to ask you, we're talking about catalysts for growth, but also investors can't help but think about the risk. And you're saying AI. Is AI the biggest risk? Is it quantum computing? What's the risk going forward from here?
Yeah, I mean, those are all going to be challenges and opportunities. So, the bad hat actors are going to use, AI. They're going to incorporate quantum computing, and the race is on now for, these companies to be able to secure the server power to have better AI. And then second, in terms of cryptography, there's going to have to be some cryptography developed that's quantum computing proof. And we've heard that actually from the AI and crypto czar, David Sachs, out of the administration, specifically as it was addressed in terms of Bitcoin. Bitcoin has never been hacked as a blockchain, very secure, but it appears that quantum computing could give it a run for its money. Thus, a different type or a modified type of cryptography is going to have to be developed for Bitcoin, and that'll be along the lines of cybersecurity. It has been the most hardened blockchain or piece of technology out there in terms of Bitcoin. I think a lot of that is because it is decentralized, but quantum computing definitely presents a threat. So these are all kind of areas that work against cybersecurity companies and for them. It's going to require a lot more investment, and that's going to raise prices for them and raise the cost of governments and corporations and frankly us as individuals going out and making that spend. So probably a risk will be the management teams balancing that R&D investment with what they're able to charge customers. The good news is the risks are so great on cyber intrusion, whether it's reputational or just from an overall business integrity standpoint, that many boards just cannot spend enough on cybersecurity because it is a existential threat to their business. If they do have a violation, just could ruin a brand's reputation, and we've seen it, unfortunately, many times. So I think we have to be balanced when we look at any growth sector. Certainly, kind of the inherent demand for this growth sector that's not as cyclical as, say, semiconductors or AI data center spends, I think is makes it stand out relative to the technology stack. But we are going to see more volatility than, for example, a broad-based product like the S&P or a value sector. This is a growth sector, and it is technology, and expect some of that volatility. But again, over the long term, we think it kind of differentiates itself as a utility spend or a spend that's necessary relative to some of the other technology verticals that really can be cyclical and be affected by economic kind of headwinds.
Past performance is no guarantee of future results. Content is offered for information purposes only. Unless stated otherwise, any and all individuals participating in the video are third parties that include both professional investors and individual investors who may not be licensed or certified by any institute or regulatory body. Unless stated otherwise, the views or opinions expressed may not reflect those of Seeking Alpha as a whole. The accuracy and completeness of content shared cannot be guaranteed. Seeking Alpha does not take account of your objectives or financial situation and does not offer any personalized investment advice. Seeking Alpha is not a licensed securities dealer, broker, U.S. investment advisor, or investment bank.